just a little bit as far as the education system. From my understanding, from what you said, it's basically language and heritage, and that's the reason between the Arab schooling and the Jewish schooling. But I'm wondering, do you see that have later repercussions as far as people interacting or getting along as they grow up or go to college or in the workplace? Is that a repercussion, or are they fairly able to work together?
Jews and Arabs, this is your question?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay. Again, the Arabs, if you go to the Arabs, are also pragmatic, not as much as the Druze. The Arab Israelis, they feel this is their home, this is their property, this is their democracy, this is their freedom of all the freedoms that we have. Incidentally, I believe that any democracy without limits is becoming chaos. So I believe that democracy also has to have certain rules to contain it. We have a mutual recognition that both Arabs and the Jews, we have no other alternatives but to continue to live there. However, as long as we have animosity, terror, mutual killing, mutual bloodshed, let's put it, the lack of peace between us and the Palestinians and the rest of the Arab states, that reflects on the relations in Israel. But we both know this is a crisis that we have to withstand. However, we continue to we work together, we learn together. There is no, all the Arab officials who work either in the education ministry or the trade ministry, all of them work together with the Jewish. Those who go to the university, I said they go to the same university. The Arab professors are not teaching at Haifa University Arab students. They are teaching students of the University of Haifa. So the Jewish professors are teaching the classes. So we have a solid ground that we are there together. But when something happens in the Middle East between the State of Israel and the Palestinians or the rest of the Arabs, it certainly reflects on the relations for that same period, for that same time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just came back from the Holy Land.
Can you come down, use the mic so we all could hear you?
Well, I would just like you to elaborate, please, on your statement that there is no poverty in the Holy Land. I would like you to please let me know what I saw over there, because I think that is it's very hurtful to many of the Israeli Arabs, especially over there, as well as the Palestinians.
I didn't spoke about poverty in the Holy Land. I spoke about the absence of poverty in the State of Israel.
Well, the Holy Land, Israel, if you will.
Oh, fine. Now I can limit myself to the borders of Israel. Did you meet any poor family really? But the real poverty. I'm talking about real poverty. Starvation. I'm not talking about whether his income is $1,000 or $500 a month. This is what I mean. Because we have, like you have here the Social Security, we have an institute which would not allow anyone to be poor, except if he is not taking care of himself. The Social Security Office, that's welfare, they call it the welfare office. Each one has the right for a certain allocation according to his economic or social situation. So you are telling me about, you wanted me to elaborate, so I'm elaborating. I don't know of any poverty in Israel. We have low income, we have middle income, we have high income, and we have super income. So if I am low income, I do not compare myself with the super income. Again, this is a practical and the pragmatic Druze approach. I can go to a very prestigious, incidentally, I'm taking the wrong colleges. Colleges are okay in Israel. It's almost free. Almost free. It's $3,000, the fee in the tuition in the university. Private colleges is $6,000. But I cannot go every week to have 2 meals in a fancy restaurant. Myself, I'm talking now about Zaidan Hatashi, and I have a very good income. I have $2,000 a month income. This is my retirement. I cannot afford it. Somebody else can afford it. So if each one will confine himself to his own income, we have no power. Otherwise, half of Israel will be poor. Again, it's compared to the alternative.
Yeah, I had a question on, Mr. Atashi, on the education. You said that the Arab students are trained in Arabic through their schooling, and the Jewish students attend their high schools and the language is Hebrew. Then they go to the same universities. What's the language of instruction in the universities?
Hebrew.
So the Arab students have to become well versed in Hebrew in order to do well at the universities in Israel.
They go qualified in Hebrew to be admitted to the university. Each one, I don't know what is the exams that you do here. You called it once. I remember when I was.
Well, it's called a TOEFL for
this is exactly
international
what
students.
they do. There is an admission exams, and if you are not good enough in Hebrew for the first year, you can have before the school year 4 months at the same university to prepare to strengthen your Hebrew in order to move with the rest of your other students. So the Hebrew is second language taught in the Arabic schools, which means from the second grade. We start Arabic first grade in elementary school, then the Hebrew second grade, and the English third grade. But everyone, even the children in the Arab areas, speak Hebrew. You tell him, Kif halak? The answer is Beseder. Which means he answers you in Hebrew. And you ask the same Arab in Arabic, he says, and Beseder. They said that it's okay, fine. So not everyone is fine in Israel anyway. Any more comments?
You have a question, sir?
Yes, sir. You mentioned the Druze religion is a fairly closed and secret. And I was wondering, is it imparted from parent to child, or do you have a hierarchy of?
You said it.
That's the only hierarchy.
Yes,
you
it
have?
is. The children grow, they must grow under Druze environment, but not compulsory. I mean, he is growing in a Druze home, educated in a Druze home, but no religious parents can force their children, that's forbidden by law of the religion, to force his children, but they have to educate them as a Druze at home.
Do you believe in a destiny, or is everything predetermined? You mentioned
Predetermined,
Okay.
absolutely. Predetermined. Yes, sir.
So, to what extent do young Druze stay with the Druze community as opposed to
100%.
100%?
100%. I tell you what, this is a continuation of the same question almost. It's not a matter of, I developed when I was with the Ministry of Education as senior advisor to the minister, we did something which was very special. That was in the 1990s, but way before. We wanted the Druze young people to know that if you leave your Druze community, you are lost. Which means that you belong to the community doesn't belong to you. You know how far we go? You belong to the community. I'll give you another example. Some people, we serve in the IDF, we serve in the Israeli forces. And our officers and young people live in Tel Aviv, in Beersheba, in Jerusalem. They are in the wide modern society. Some of them fell in love with the Jewish girl. About 35 of them married with a Jewish girl since 1950. 90% of those 35 separated and came back home. They were not able, and they left their children with their mothers because they were not able to adapt to the culture. It's not their culture. It's the alienation. So, always the individual feels that he is committed spiritually, consciously, culturally, socially to the community. And without this community, he is nowhere. Including myself. And I lived in America 4 years, and I feel myself liberal traveler. I can't live in America. I can't live in Haifa. I cannot live in Tel Aviv. I want to live in my own small town with my community.
Yes, sir, a question over here.
I'm trying to get a grasp around, is the population increasing?
Good question.
And if so, how is that possible if it's reincarnation that is...
I know exactly what you want to ask. Maury, you were asking about the secrets.
Yeah, that was at dinner.
This is one of the secrets. The population is growing. And my contemporaries, when I was working on my thesis for my master's, I was challenging and teasing the Orthodox leadership, the religious leadership. I'm not telling them, you have been telling me when I was baby that the world does not increase, not the Druze, the world doesn't increase. And here the Druze community, my own town, was 1,500 in 1948. Now it is 7,000. No immigrants, no newcomers. Birth rate. They tried to escape once, second, third, then they told me, listen, when you become religious like me, you will know exactly what's happening in the world. So it is not a matter, in the Druze community, it's not a matter of take it or leave it as a faith. It is take it. That's it. Why? Very simple. Many Christians questioned Christianity. So now you have about 40 denominations. Many Jews question Judaism. Isn't that right? Now you have 6 denominations. Many Muslims question Islam. Now they have 72 denominations. The Druze do not question religion. We say and we are convinced, we do not challenge or question the word of God. It's not negotiable. This is a very strict principle, and this is maybe one of the secrets. When you see me in 5 years from now with the white turban as a religious scholar coming here, maybe I can tell you some of those secrets. But the increase, we are increasing.
Okay, are there any other questions or follow-ups on any questions that anybody wants to bring up to Mr. Atashi? Well, on behalf of the entire Iowa State University community, I want to thank you for your presentation.